Hello, this is Joel Blackford with Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only, based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the philosophy of eschatology, what you need to know, your reality, your existence, what's going on in the world today. And I'm going to be arguing that King Cyrus, is going to be forging the Abraham Accords this year and moving not towards the third temple, but like a third temple, probably, but that would be the offerings, and that would be the reinstitution of the holy on the Temple Mount. That would be somewhat similar to Revelation 11. I'll try to compare it to that. And so we're going to solve a piece of Revelation today. Stick with us. So basically, God's involved. He's pushing it, but he's using Cyrus, King Trump, to change the ownership of the Temple Mount, to change the process of the Abraham Accords, and to cause us this peace and safety, which is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It's an interesting time. So basically, Trump is behind this, but it's God pushing. God wants to get things done. It's time. Okay. And so what I'm saying is he's using the Abraham Accords to then produce something. We'll call it the holy on the Temple Mount area, okay? And there are many other factors involved. So it's God and many factors, because God runs billions of processes at any point in time. So we're trying not to twist the Bible. We're trying to give you prophecy. We're trying to give you the news and talk about the philosophy of the end of days, about the Temple Mount. So, first of all, we have to talk about Pope Francis and his funeral. And I believe that he was a communist, and so I didn't support him at all. And I have wonderful Catholic friends that didn't support him either, and they supported Vigano. And so the main thing is, at his funeral, Trump said, "I'm going to show up," and so Prince William and Keir Starmer should have been in the front row, but Trump pushed the back. And they did a marvelous job of keeping people far apart. Zelensky was far away from Trump. Macron's off to the side there. There's Keir Starmer there. I mean, it's just interesting to see how this worked out at the funeral. So then it's funny, too. So once again, Zelensky was 11 seats away from King Cyrus, okay? And Donald is the king of the world right now. They realize that it's not just personalities. It's who's got the biggest ego, but who's the king of the world. He's setting in place many peace deals. And so we'll show you those slides. The leader of the free world found himself front and center for the service. Now, this is the Daily Mail saying this. This is as of April 26th. I'm recording on the 27th. So then now, after that, the College of Cardinals will gather, and Trump won't have any influence over that. I truly believe that Peter the Roman will be picked based on the St. Malachi prophecies of 1139, 1,000 years ago, basically, that they're going to choose their operations manager, their Secretary of State, which is Pietro Parolin. And so I'm arguing he's Peter the Roman. He's been operating the Vatican since 2013. So it would make sense that Francis was basically the face, but he wasn't running anything. He was just an annoyance. And so the prophecy itself, the final words of St. Malachi's prophecy, Peter the Roman, who will pasture his sheep in many tribulations, and when these things are finished, the city of seven hills, i.e. Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end. So it works out. Many other prophecies have been very wonderful on this, and so I'm going to argue that this came from God, and that and you'll argue, well, he's a Catholic. No, I know many godly Catholics. Some of them are charismatic. So it's just interesting to see this occurrence. So the Cardinals will meet. My pick, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologize, and I'll quickly do so, that the Cardinals will choose Pietro Parolin as Peter the Roman. And he's already been the guy running the operation since 2013. So we'll see if I'm right. So the Vatican, Revelation 9, portals opening. So we have some Revelation 11, but also Revelation 9. The Catholic Church has been working for years with UFOs and other things like that. And this is a guy that, this is from The Sun, and I'm blanking on David Grutch. Okay, and Steve Bassett. Steve Bassett is the most important person here, but all of these guys are saying, will the Pope finally reveal the Vatican's UFO secrets? Insider says, truth is coming with help of U.S. So Trump's going to push this. Okay, that's interesting. So this is April 27th. So this is today. And Revelation 9 is a fact. You will have that abyss opening up, and you'll have these odd creatures, 9 feet tall, jumping out, and the king of the abyss with them. And you will also have fallen angels and probably Nephilim on the planet. They will be exposed by the midpoint of the Great Tribulation. You'll see these things occur. So this is interesting how these guys are demanding that Trump pushes this, and Trump's been trying to expose other information too. So, Revelation 9 talks about the resumption of the holy, but before that, in Revelation 9, you'll have these odd UFO type creatures. I call them not UFOs, but extra dimensionals. They're part of a different dimension. They'll be exposed by some point in time. Okay. CERN is trying to expose these things too. CERN's been working on this. This was April 8th of 2024 when they restarted the CERN plant, and they're trying to, out of the door might come something, or we might send something through it, says Sergio Bartolucci, who is Director of Research and Scientific Computing at CERN, 2009. That's what they're trying to do. Take them at their word, okay? So CERN has been doing this, and they restarted it during the eclipse of 2008. Just interesting, people. And once again, Aleister Crowley and others, these Satanists who are meeting on June 11th, dreamed of a day when big tech would allow access to the realm where his alien buddy Lamb came from. I've always suspected his connections to NASA and the building of the CERN collider were connected, especially after seeing the grand opening ceremony. Crowley also encountered another entity called AWAS, who he believed dictated the book of the law to him. It's just interesting. CERN is involved in this. And so they're having a meeting on June 11th, but the big meeting worldwide. And this is my friend Tim Hillis that gave me that quote on the side there. I'm sorry that I didn't mark it as Tim, but it is Tim. And so I want you to be aware that they're pushing forward for these things. CERN's involved with it. The Satanists, they're all in league. And they want to open up the portals and have these beings pop out, extra dimensional beings. So the other huge story is India versus Pakistan. So Vance went to India, to the northwestern section, the Himalayas there, and immediately the people from Pakistan started fighting. They killed 26 innocent people in Kashmir. So it's just interesting. So now this is as of the 26th, but probably today too. I haven't checked. Pakistan and India exchanged straight day of border fire on the brink. And they're both nuclear, So, maybe Vance shouldn't have gone there, but maybe Pakistan shouldn't have sent their mercenaries up there to cause mayhem. So, there's nothing wrong with being a tourist in India, but the problem is that India and Pakistan hate each other, and they're basically brothers, just a Muslim side and a Hindu side. So this is from Slay Magazine from the 24th, but you can see I added Zero Hedge on there for the 26th. Just interesting. And so India is aligning with the U.S. even more now as this is happening, and Pakistan is aligning with China, which is very interesting. So India hates Pakistan, and India hates China. But they all have nukes, So communist Islamist axis puts India and America in its crosshairs. Very interesting from the Washington Free Beacon. And so India's mourning the deaths of these people, and the jihadists are active over in Pakistan, and daggers are drawn, and there could be a nuclear showdown, no doubt about it. This is the unhappy marriage between radical Islam and communism of China. So it's just interesting to watch these things occur. These are huge things. And Trump's going to try to put out the fires there too. So just so you're aware, it's water treaties that come in from India through Pakistan. And so India said, okay, fine, you want to do this? We set up a peace treaty with you back in 1947-48. We ratified it in 1967, and now we'll break it. As of April 23rd, 2025, India suspends Indus Waters Treaty following a terrorist attack at Jammu and Kashmir. India halts water flow to Pakistan and downgrades diplomatic ties. So it's interesting. They've had so many years of peace. It's relative peace. And this is the Jagran Josh, and it's from April 24th. So it is an interesting article. And so, India canceling all visas for all Pakistanis. India suspends Indus Waters treaties from 1960 forward. India closes the Wagah border crossing. Interesting. Okay. Then you've got Trump and you've got Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, working together. Trump says he'll be leading the pack to war if Iran deal prospects wither away. So he's giving Iran this time to get it done. This is April 25th from Fox News, obviously. And so they talk about the peace treaty between Ukraine and the president too. So he's working on all of these things at the same time, and he's forcing it quickly. And I think God is giving him these Cyrus abilities to get everything done. So, what's Trump working on? There's a conflict watch list, and I'm showing you Trump as a statue there, kind of like Daniel too. So he's working on the Ukraine and Russia skirmishes, war. Israel, Gaza, the West Bank, and the Muslim nations near them, and the Arab nations, Pakistan, India too, and Myanmar, yes, Sudan. He's working on all of these at the same time, and he'll probably bring peace, which is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. So it's just interesting. He's winning right now, and he could quash all of these wars. So there are other wars coming at some point in time. So this is Turkey with the Hagia Sophia, and they want the Temple Mount badly. And so there's a caliphate that was there from 1517 to 1917, and Erdogan would love to see it happen again. And he's fomenting war over there. And really, what's going on then is there will be a caliphate, but it won't be the Turkish caliphate or the Iranian caliphate. It'll be them working together. I don't know how that works in Ezekiel 38, 39, but Iran wants a caliphate. Turkey wants one, and there is a Muslim caliphate, but they're tribal. They don't like each other. So it's just interesting to see on the right-hand side here all these nations coming against Israel, and Trump is working on peace for the moment. So there is also the factor of the Mahdi. And so this fellow named Abdullah Hashim Abba al-Sadiq Mahdi, he's a Jewish fellow and a Christian fellow, and he's saying, I am the successor to Jesus Christ. I am the true legitimate pope. I am the successor of the Imam al-Mahdi. And so it's just, there will be a Mahdi too. I think it's Obama. And this is from my friend John Haller, his Prophecy update, showing the Mahdi viewing the Temple Mount and believing that that's there. So it's just interesting. All these advertisements. Once again, Ezekiel 38, 39 is those countries coming against Israel, and you can see the directions that they're coming from. And so that also includes Iran working with Turkey. It doesn't make sense because Turkey is Sunni and Iran is Shiite. They're going to work together based on the prophecy. So go figure. So that's the war, and I'm arguing that Obama's going to be the leader of it. Okay? But in the meantime, Turkey is pushing as hard as they can. Trump is claiming that he's best buddies with Turkey, and Erdogan, I don't see that working. The Pope will be involved too. Whatever Pope jumps up and they select, I'm arguing in the middle here that he will hand the crown over to the Antichrist at the midpoint, based on Rebecca Sterling's prophecies. And then Liz Churchill talking about Obama, how he gave $1.7 billion in cash to Iran, and nobody in Congress, the FBI, or the justice system called for an investigation. He's my caliphate guy, okay? I'm saying that he's going to be running the United Nations at some point in time. So let's talk about Syria. This is so amazing that Syria and HTS and this leader Ahmed al-Shara took over Syria with the help of Turkey in 11 days. That's a miracle. I mean, and not a good one unless it's God's prophecy. But this is from the Syrian Observer. This is April 23rd of 2025. That this man, an ISIS man, came in and took over with Turkey's help again all of Syria. And then now within days, this is as of the times of Israel, and I'm not sure the exact date of this. I would say this is within the last couple of hours. Actually, it says today. I think that was the 24th. That this Ahmed al-Shara is saying, I want to join the Abraham Accords, and I want to do it now. And so when Trump flies over very shortly here, and I'll give you the times, to meet with Saudi Arabia and MBS over there, he's going to be talking to the Syrian leader, the new Syrian leader, and he's going to try to negotiate between Israel, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, and another country. I'll cite that in a second here. And so Trump gathers Middle East leaders in Saudi Arabia for major peace and prosperity deals and a potential pivot of the Temple Mount from Jordan to Saudi Arabia. Why? Because if Syria can fall in 11 days, then Jordan and Saudi Arabia can fall fast too. So that means that they need Trump involved. And so Trump is working on the 1 Thessalonians 5:3 peace and safety pact. Okay? Now, there are people out there, they're good people, godly people. They claim that Ahmed al-Sharia is the Antichrist. He's the little horn. He's a caliphate puppet. He's nothing. Yes, these things match up. There's no doubt about it. Syria is important, and I understand. I want to say that it's oh goodness, the Assyrian, and that is from not Malachi, but Amos 5:7 should be. And so basically, yes, I know those prophecies, but they're I think it's closer to go with the Prince of the Covenant and the covenant with many of the Abraham Accords from Daniel 9 and from Daniel 9:27. So it's interesting. Watch him, but I think he's just a puppet. Sorry, and he's a puppet of Turkey, of Erdogan. You can see it in the picture there. But Jordan, I think, is going to pivot. I think they're going to want to hand the Temple Mount over to the Saudis, who will then hand it back to Israel, and it'll be Israel's property shortly. And Trump's going to get this done. He's going to negotiate it. So Jordan bans Muslim Brotherhood after alleged sabotage plot against Hashemite Kingdom. So Jordan almost lost power, and this would have meant that Turkey would have controlled Syria and Jordan within a short period of time. So once again, Turkish forces crushed Syria in 11 days. Jordan knows it's next. The Muslim Brotherhood just plotted a coup to dethrone the Hashemites in Jordan. It failed. Quelling fears motivates sellers. Watch Jordan pivot to Saudi Arabia in May or later as Trump meets in Saudi Arabia with MBS and other nations. A deal for control over the Temple Mount could be brewing. It's biblical. And so we'll see what happens, but Trump is negotiating many agreements right now for peace and whatever else. So, Saudis, Jordan, they want the USA and Israel backing them up because Iran is dangerous right now. And so I don't know if this is true or not. Basically, it's saying MBS is allowing the clothing rules to be lax, and so women can dress in swimming suits and things like that. I kind of doubt that, but I do want to point out that his cause is not the Palestinian cause. So MBS is the new next leader of Saudi Arabia. The Palestinian cause is not my cause. I only care about my country and the people of my country. We will not waste time with radicalism. We will modernize rapidly. He wants deals. He wants to be a part of the Abraham Accords. So what we need is King Solomon to die, and he will at some point in time. He was born in 1935. He's turning 90 shortly, and he's very frail, very weak. And so as soon as as soon as Mohammed bin Salman takes over, then the Abraham Accords will increase from UAE, Sudan, Morocco, and Bahrain jumping together into this program will probably increase by 10 to 20 nations. Trump is talking about that. So MBS wants to join. We just need to wait for the king to die, and that could happen shortly. He's very weak, very frail, and there's no news reports on him at all. So I'm saying after the full moon of 5/12/2025, Trump will leave for Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE on May 13th through the 16th during that full moon timeframe. Very interesting. So and that's when Trump is going, and this is the Times of Israel. They're my new go-to source. So it's just interesting to see this happening. And he'll be talking, he won't mention the third temple of the red heifer. He'll just be making deals. And so this has been an incredibly busy year. And I want you to notice those blood moons and between them, because that kicked everything off. And we'll show you here. Every single event right now has meaning in terms of the full moons. So the blood moon of Purim, March 14th, the full moon of Passover, April 13th, and that was, we want Israel to be let go from Egypt, okay, and have the Temple Mount back. Then the full moon of May 12th, you'll find King Trump flying to Saudi Arabia to negotiate peace deals in the Middle East. And will Trump and MBS convince Jordan to hand control of the Temple Mount over to Saudi Arabia in lieu of protection from Turkey and the Neo-Caliphate and Iran, for that matter, too? So then the full moon of June 11th, we'll find the Lucifers, the Lucistrust Satanists exhorting their fallen angel and Nephilim friends to enter our realm per Revelation 9. So we're working towards the holy, but we're also working towards the evil, because the evil forces are working hard, obviously. So the meetings will be in London, New York, and Geneva on June 11th. Just watch those. We're going to host a get-together that night. Courtney Turner will be joining us, and so these are interesting times as the good is working, but the bad is working just as hard. So after Trump is done with the Middle East, he's planning to go to Russia and basically force a deal upon Zelensky. He was there at the Pope Francis funeral working on Zelensky and saying, you will back down. You will allow peace. This is zero hedge. Trump says he could meet Putin shortly after upcoming Middle East trip. King Cyrus is going everywhere. So Trump had some strong words for Moscow, but he wants the deal. And he really has stronger words for Kiev, okay, for Zelensky. So it's just interesting to watch everything move so quickly. The article is April 24th, but things are moving so fast now. Who knows how far along this deal is? But he wants to get the peace deal done. So it's just interesting to see what's going on. And then moving forward, the Abraham Accords. This is what he ultimately wants to accomplish, is the Abraham Accords. Jared Kushner reveals Trump's vision. 10 countries will join the Abraham Accords after Saudi Arabia, who would be the fifth nation. And so this is December 23rd of 2024 from Newsreel. Yeah, so Israel News. And so Kushner's talking about it. That's just before Christmas. Kushner reveals that during the transition between administrators, he informed Biden's team that an agreement with Saudi Arabia could be achieved within 3 to 6 months. That's okay. So that means that we are probably looking at summer to fall of this year. However, they wasted 2 years criticizing Saudi Arabia and only then began to adopt their policies. So he'll address the issues of Iran better and the Palestinians properly. So the Iranians' current state, Kushner assesses Iran is weaker today than it has been in a long time. So he thinks they can force a peace deal on Iran. We'll see. Israel's new boldness to expand and protect. This is Herzog no longer pushes for two-state solution, says October 7th was a wake-up call. This is World Israel News from January 21st, 2025. So there's no way to have a two-state solution. It doesn't work anymore. And that's good, because prophecy works best if it's just Israel and there's no two states. Hours after inauguration, Trump cancels sanctions on residents of Judea and Samaria. So that means that they'll be able to push into those areas, and the terrorists will be kicked out. That's 7 Israel. That's at Ruth Shavah, and that's from January 21st, 2025. So it's just interesting to see all these activities so fast. You know, obviously Jared Kushner's working on Abraham Accords. Trump is working on peace deals. They're working together, obviously. And then there are some people that are working behind the scenes to instill this boldness in Jews, Orthodox Jews. So this is Ithamar Ben Gvir, and he was at Chabad's headquarters, 770 in Crown Heights, saying, may the temple be rebuilt speedily in our days. Okay? Now, Chabad doesn't necessarily want that. They want the Messiah to do that, but they're willing to sing it anyway. Okay? And next year in Jerusalem and other things like that. So Ithamar Ben Gvir, Israeli minister, joins Friendly Thursday Night Colette in Brooklyn after stirring the pot in New York City. Yes. And I don't have the date of this, but this is all within the last couple of days here. This is Thursday, Friday, so the 24th, 25th, that type of a time frame. So it's just interesting. Once again, the Times of Israel and Awesome Jew here. It's interesting to watch that boldness, and Ithamar Ben Gvir is causing that. So police said to allow group of 180 Jews on the Temple Mount, further testing norms. But there was no pushback. So this is April 16th of 2025. Once again, the Times of Israel, but they're reporting it. Others aren't. So yeah, 180 Jews. Ithamar Ben Gvir allowed this. It's interesting to note his name, Gvir, is there with a yud, so it's he will strengthen. So there's something about Daniel 9:27 that reminds me of him, you know, and so it's there in the Hebrew text. So he is overseen, and he'll overhaul the policy at the Temple Mount that the Jews are not allowed to pray. He wants prayers up there. God wants prayers there. And there is a backlash from countries in the region, but you know what? Netanyahu is going to stand by this. They're allowing this to occur. And God wants the prayers on the Temple Mount. He wants his house of prayer. So we're praying for them at this holy place. Far right lawmaker prays, prostrates on the Temple Mount. So the Knesset leader there, this is my net news. 14 years ago, I was here. I bowed for a second and the police immediately grabbed me. Sukkot said afterward, they arrested me. Now Jews are bowing, praying, holding prayer quorums. Arabs aren't allowed near us. The Waqf doesn't come close. I see this with tears in my eyes. This is a boldness. This is amazing. These times are changing, and Trump's involved in it too. We merited to come here today to the house of the Lord, to the Temple Mount, Sukkot added, first with deep gratitude to God for the open miracles of the past year, up north, to the south, to the west, and on the wars. Thanks to the sacrifice of our soldiers, we're praying for the success of the IDF troops on all fronts and also for the swift return of the hostages. We're praying for them at this holy place. That's their job. They pray. Somebody else fights, but they're praying, and that's prayer warfare, people. So on the side that I believe in, which is Messianic Judaism, 558,000 subscribers to One for Israel. 23,000 views in Israel of their videos and things like that. 25,000 app downloads, bringing the gospel back to Israel, the good news, equipping believers to reach the world from Israel. So it's good news for Israel, One for Israel ministry, and it's just amazing how things are happening. So God is awakening them. He's awakening people in Israel, and you can contrast it with growing anti-Semitism. Oh, that's off the Richter scale too. So it's just good to see this. You know that God is moving. First of all, he'll bring the Jews back to Torah, then Yeshua at some point in time. And anti-Semitism is growing. It's horrible. This man on the side, we will burn Jews like Hitler did. BBC contributor in Gaza celebrates Jewish civilian death. Jerusalem Post. This is from April 26, 2025. Horrible, horrible feelings. And then you've got terrorist supporters are attacking Jews outside a synagogue in Flatbush, New York. And then Harvard is attacking the Jews, and Yale is attacking the Jews, according to Elsie Minor. And that was the J Post, I'm sorry, on the left hand. Yale's silence is allowing blatant campus anti-Semitism and betraying the promise of never again. So that's Yale. These are all fresh articles. And so what are we doing as a show? Prophecy Roundtable had Rico Cortez on just on Thursday night here. Great video. Please watch that. Talking about the third temple of the red heifer. And then this Thursday coming up, so that will be May 1st, Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz. He's a friend of mine. He was just interviewed by Mark Biltz, and he was just interviewed by Nelson Walters. So Adam's going to be on our show. And so we're rather excited about the third temple, the red heifer, and things that are occurring, the boldness and everything like that. Just notice this, that according to Rabbi Shlomo Goren, Goren means the threshing floor, literally, of where the Temple Mount. And so he was born on February 3rd, 1917. He died October 29th of 1994, the same year as the Rebbe. He lived 77 years. Many famous rabbis have lived 77 years. And we have from 1948 to 2032, the 84th year, but we are at 77 years right now, which is very interesting. Just note 77 years. Be aware this is 2025, and this is a very important year. So people will start fighting against the government. So now we give you the prophecy side that affects how you live. So there have been these revolutions occurring across America to fight back against Trump and against the government and things like that. I want to quote some Dmitry Duduman to you, just so you can know the prophecy side. He said, "Remember this, Dmitry. The Russian spies have discovered where the nuclear warehouses are in America. When the Americans will think it is peace and safety," that's what I've been talking about today, "from the middle of the country, some of the people will start fighting against, I believe, the Trump's government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the ocean, from Cuba, Nicaragua, Mexico," he told me 2 other countries, but I didn't remember what they were, "they will bomb the nuclear warehouses. When they explode, America will burn." Yeah, that's a prophecy, people. And Wilkerson basically said the same thing. So, from once again, Dmitry Duduman and Michael Boldea, "But when America burns," that's Revelation 18, "the Lord will raise China, Japan, and other nations to go against the Russians. They will beat the Russians and push them all the way back to the gates of Paris." It's interesting to see Paris falling right now. It's just interesting to see France falling. "Over there, they will make a treaty and appoint the Russians as their leaders. They will unite against Gog. Gog will unite against Israel. When Israel realizes she does not have the strength of America behind her, she will be frightened. That's when she will turn to the Messiah for deliverance. That's when the Messiah will come. Then the church will meet Jesus in the air, and we will bring them, and he will bring them back with him to the Mount of Olives. At that time, the Battle of Armageddon will be fought. That's the prophecy. And it's hard to disagree with it. You see the peace being formed right now. You see the holy almost starting, and you see the boldness of the Jews and the faith returning to Israel. So we're in the birth pangs. We're not in the tribulation. We're not in the great tribulation. We are working towards the Abraham Accords. And so I want to mention again, there is this King Cyrus thing. Pray for Trump that he brings peace, because that's part of the prophecy. But then eventually King Cyrus, Trump, will push forward to the Abraham Accords and then the third temple. So it's very interesting to watch this. You're preparing for a wedding, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot of a year. You'll need clean garments. You can't be naked. It's a wedding. Get ready for Yeshua to return. Be blessed. Thank you very much for your time. God bless again. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Next year in Jerusalem, huh?